This is Chris Paul with acrobatic.
The exuberance of Chris Paul.
Chris Paul trying to beat the buzzer. Will he? Oh, yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Seesaw back and forth. This is Chris Paul. Little stutter step for the bucket plus the foul. Comes Chris Paul.
And you notice most of the heat shots are from the outside. There you see the quickness and court awareness of Chris Paul. Put it between his legs and finish.
Hunters threw it away. Chris Paul with yet another steal. Paul, shake it, make it. Score!
Chris Paul is retiring, and for a generation of basketball fans, that sentence feels heavier than it looks on paper. Not because it's shocking, everyone knew the end was coming, but because Chris Paul's career was never about a clean ending. It was about control, resistance, survival, and an obsessive pursuit of perfection in a league that increasingly moved away from everything he stood for.
Yo, what's up, CP? You can hang those right up there, man.
I'm not a rookie anymore. I shouldn't be doing all of this.
Wait, I thought you were Rookie of the Year.
Right.
Right, Rookie of the Year.
Last year. Last year.
21 seasons, one of the longest careers for a point guard in NBA history. No championship ring. And yet, when Chris Paul says, "This is it," the league pauses. Because whether people loved him or hated him, nobody controlled games the way he did. Chris Paul didn't retire as a star. He retired as a reminder.
One thing about Chris is he watches basketball. He watches basketball all day. He has it up on his iPad, he has it up on the TV, and he will just watch games, and that's how he knows. After 20 years of doing it, he knows everything about everybody. He knows teams' plays. He's one of those people. People say the same thing about Braun. People say the same thing about a handful of guys. The scouting report is, Dame Lillard going left, aggressive to shoot. Dame Lillard going right, maybe wants to hit the pocket more. So it's kind of a close game down the stretch, and Chris is like, let me guard Dame. We're like, all right, see, go ahead, you got him. Forces him right off the screen, and he gets clipped by the screen pretty good, but Dame Lillard throws a pocket pass, and I'm on the right side. This is why I like the story, because of just my perspective on it. I'm on the right side of the court, so I'm the left side of the court. The play's going away from me. And so it looks like he has no chance in the play, but as he's kind of falling, he's not looking. He just sticks his hand down to where the pass could be, ends up deflecting it. We go on, fast break layup. And he's like, that's why you watch basketball. That's why you watch basketball. He's like, you got to know these things. So he kind of has that mentality for a lot of different situations where it's he expects you to know things about teams, about players, about personnel, which is really great from a team perspective because it keeps you accountable and it's high level processing of the game. But that was one example of this high level processing of the game that I really appreciated in the moment.
A reminder of what the point guard position used to be. From the moment he entered the league in 2005, Chris Paul wasn't built like the modern NBA guard. He wasn't oversized. He wasn't explosive in the Derrick Rose sense. He didn't rely on deep pull-up threes like today's guards. What he had was command, a rare, almost uncomfortable level of control over tempo, spacing, angles, and decision-making.
All that paraphernalia he got on his jacket. And General over there, right? I don't even want to put my jacket on. See, I don't like that. I don't like that. I like the All-Star Games better when they just put the stars on there. You know what I mean? I was at least thinking I might have 6 stars on my jacket, right? 6 separate stars, so it looked like I got a lot of stuff on there. They just put a star with a 6 on it. You know what I mean? So my jacket just got one patch. You know what I mean? I wish I could have had 6 separate stars, make it look like I got something.
When Paul entered the league with New Orleans, he immediately looked different. Not flashy, surgical. He didn't just run plays. He dictated how defenders moved before they even realized they were reacting. Rookie of the Year in 2006 wasn't about numbers. It was about authority. He walked into grown man locker rooms and took over. That trait never left him. Chris Paul's career wasn't a straight line upward. It was a series of restarts, each one forcing him to prove that his basketball IQ could outlast his body. New Orleans gave him relevance. The Clippers gave him superstardom. Houston gave him reinvention. Oklahoma City gave him redemption. Phoenix gave him one last shot at history. And through every stop, the same criticism followed him like a shadow. He can't win the big one. That critique became louder as his resume grew longer. 12 All-Star selections, 4 All-NBA first teams, 7 All-Defensive first teams, 2nd all-time in assists, 2nd all-time in steals, Olympic gold medals, NBA 75th anniversary team. On paper, it's a Hall of Fame lock. In conversation, it's complicated because Chris Paul's greatness was never loud. It was annoying. He drew fouls. He barked at referees. He slowed games down when everyone else wanted speed. He hunted mismatches instead of highlights. He punished mistakes rather than celebrating dominance. Fans don't romanticize that style easily, but players respected it. Ask anyone who played against Chris Paul at his peak. They'll tell you the same thing. He didn't beat you with athleticism. He beat you with inevitability. He saw your mistake 2 passes ahead. He walked defenders into traps they didn't realize were closing. He turned mid-range jumpers into weapons long after analytics told everyone to abandon them. Chris Paul made the mid-range cool by refusing to let it die, and that stubbornness defined his career. When he joined the Clippers, expectations skyrocketed. Lob City was supposed to be the future. Athleticism, pace, spectacle. But the truth is, Chris Paul never fully fit that identity. He wasn't there to be flashy. He was there to win. And when injuries, collapses, and internal tension derailed those Clippers teams, the blame landed on him. Fair or not, Chris Paul became the common denominator in disappointment. Houston was supposed to change that narrative. For one season, it almost did. The 2018 Rockets came closer to dethroning the Warriors than anyone else. Chris Paul outplayed Stephen Curry in stretches. He controlled pace against a dynasty, and then his body failed him again. A hamstring injury, another what if. That moment hardened his legacy into something cruel. One of the greatest point guards ever whose career would forever be defined by what didn't happen. Then Oklahoma City happened, and that's where the league had to reevaluate everything it thought it knew about Chris Paul. That Thunder team wasn't supposed to be competitive. It was supposed to be a rebuild, a salary dump, a footnote. Instead, Chris Paul dragged them into the playoffs, mentored young players, and reminded everyone that leadership isn't loud, it's consistent. That season wasn't about stats, it was about respect. Phoenix was the last real run, the last chance to rewrite history, and for a moment, it looked like destiny was finally on his side. The Suns reached the finals in 2021. Chris Paul was masterful. The narrative shifted. Then Milwaukee happened. Giannis happened. And once again, the ring slipped away. At that point, the conversation around Chris Paul stopped being about winning championships and started being about what basketball actually values. Does dominance require a ring? Does control matter less than athletic spectacle? Does leadership show up in box scores? As the league got younger, faster, and louder, Chris Paul aged out of relevance. Not because he forgot how to play, but because the league stopped being built for players like him. By the time he bounced through Golden State, San Antonio, and Toronto, the writing was on the wall. His minutes shrank. His role diminished. The numbers faded, but the mind never did. When Toronto waived him and he announced his retirement, there was no farewell tour, no victory lap, no cinematic goodbye, just a post that said everything about who Chris Paul always was. Honest, reflective, unpolished. This is it. And somehow, that felt right. Chris Paul retires without a championship, but not without influence. Today's guards, whether they admit it or not, borrow pieces of his game. the way they manipulate defenders, the way they control pace, the way they weaponize angles. He didn't win the title, but he won the position, and that matters more than people realize. Because basketball doesn't just remember champions. It remembers architects. It remembers players who bent the game to their will, even if the final trophy never came. Chris Paul was never built for viral moments. He was built for mastery. And in an era obsessed with flash, he leaves as proof that intelligence, discipline, and control can still shape the game, even if they don't always get the glory. Chris Paul is retiring, and whether you loved him, hated him, or argued about his legacy for years, the league just lost one of its last true generals.